What's up, guys? It's Peach Booty here, and this is my Street Fighter 6 ass tier list slash ranking. Now, I say ranking because there's not really many asses here, as you can see. What I did was I basically just took the top 5 because there's 7 females, and you have Lily with the whole age thing. We don't really know how old she is. And then you also have Marisa, who's, big buff bodybuilder. And my original plan was to just take the whole roster and obviously mostly talk about these 5 women right here. But I was just going to take a basic like Street Fighter 6 tier list roster and go from there. But surprisingly, I could not find that on TierMaker. I don't think many people have made this tier list, or at least not through tiermaker.com. So I just decided to find ass shots of really the 5 main women here, and that's why I'm calling it kind of a ranking. Still going to do it in a tier list format because of the different grades, different tiers, but I will obviously be going a ranking, 1 through 5. So we're just going to start this right off the bat with the really obvious one. That's Cammy. Let's bring her up here. This is really easy. This is a really easy S. It's the number 1 ass. To be honest, Cammy's ass has always been iconic, right? It's always been, not always big, but it's usually, fairly sizable. But in this game, I mean, I love the yoga pants. I still got to get the classic outfits. I haven't really played much World Tour, so I will definitely get on that and make more videos with the classic outfit. But I think from just a singular butt model, like Cammy's Street Fighter 6 butt model is easily one of the biggest I've seen in a game and one of the best looking. Like the other one that comes in my mind when it comes to a singular character model is Twin Tail from ARMS, who's also wearing kind of black leggings. And obviously you have the jiggle effect and everything else too. She doesn't have any sort of Armika butt attack, which is upsetting, but this is easily one of the biggest asses I've ever seen in a video game. Especially compared to the rest of her body, it's just kind of nutty looking. It's really massive. It's freaking huge. So we're going to go ahead and do that right away. So next we have Chun-Li, another classic. Bring her up here. So I've always said this about Chun-Li, right? She's more thighs, and I feel like she's usually overall generally thicker than Cammy is in most games. I think 5 was the first game I would say Cammy definitely had a bigger ass, because Cammy's flat in 4. She doesn't have any ass in 4. And Chun-Li's always been kind of thick throughout. There isn't too many skinnier Chun-Li's out there. So she's obviously definitely thick. But we're talking when comparing her with Cammy's, especially in 6. Cammy's is obviously much bigger. Even though Chun-Li has bigger thighs and might probably weigh... Well, I don't know. She could weigh more, but Cammy's ass obviously has a lot of weight to it, a lot of fat to it, and probably muscle. Whereas Chun-Li's is mostly muscle. I'm going to give her A. A lot of the jiggle is on her thighs. But I think A is solid, and Cammy's definitely above her. At least in 6. Again, in SF6, this is my ranking. So now we have Juri. So I believe this picture is from just kind of a free cam thing that somebody got, which is the one taunt she does. Her ass is always, it's bigger than you expect it to be. Anytime you see, any focus on it, also when she's walking out in Street Fighter 6 after the character selection screen and they're walking out to the battle, if she's on the player 2 side, the ass gets, right in your face, right in the camera's face. And I think, right off the bat, I'm thinking A. It's obviously, again, not as big as Cammy's. I also think Chun-Li's is probably better. I'm going to bring that up again here. But yeah, I think A. I'm going to put it next to Chun-Li, and I'll go through like just the overall ranking at the end. So then we have Kimberly, which right off the bat out of these 5, I was thinking she probably has the smallest. Yeah, it's not that big. The question is this why I'm doing the tier list? So is it at least B or is it C? This is, I believe this is the wind pose where she turns, yeah, this is definitely the wind pose where she turns around. Like here, I think it's only like a C. I have seen other angles, like I've done certain moves, certain supers, and finishers and stuff where it like does the more cinematic approach, and you get better comparison shots. Like if you check some of my videos where I have like all the females being hit by like Lily's critical art, right? And you can kind of see the size difference. Like Juri is definitely bigger than Kimberly's, but not like that much bigger. But then when you compare Kimberly and Cammy, it's like a massive difference. Ooh. So there's really going to be nobody in B. So it's whether, I think she's only C. Yeah, I think these are well above. I can't think of like a character. There's that Aki, that AKI character, the new DLC character, and she looks really sick. She kind of looks like a Juri type. I could see her being in like B, but she's more just like a cooler aesthetic and not necessarily. She doesn't look like she'd be like super curvy or anything. But yeah, I was trying to think of other Street Fighter characters I could see that would fill the spot. Because obviously Armika would be an S if she was in this game, and probably Laura as well. But let's get to a new character and let's talk about Manon, or Manon. Okay, yeah. This is easily the second best ass. I've always, not even just on a Street Fighter tier list, or Street Fighter 6 ass tier list, but just in like an overall butt or video game ass tier list, anytime it comes up with her, even though I know the game just came out, but we saw a lot of this ass beforehand, just like with Cammy's. And since Manon's a new character, I've always kind of like been right in between. She's either bottom of S or top of A. So let's bring the tier list back up here. Yeah, because I think she's above Chun-Li and she's definitely below Cammy. Yeah, I think she's S. I also am probably going to main her. I just got done doing everybody's arcade mode as well as attempting all the trials, and she was actually the first character I beat all the trials for. And I think I'm going to settle, basically these two, surprisingly, are the two characters I'm looking to main. I used to play Vega, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 2, Armika and Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 5, and then I usually had Bison as like a secondary, and none of those characters are in this game, so I'm excited to learn characters, and none of them use their ass, which kind of sucks. You know, Peach Booty, I'm the guy that uses the characters with the butt attacks, right? Weapons of ass destruction. But let's go to the ranking 1 through 5 as well as the tier list. So in S tier, you have number 1, which is Cammy, which, I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised. The one thing I will say about Cammy is she's more, like, when it comes to height and everything, a little petite, like smaller. I mean, there's always that difference with Manon where she looks way taller than the game says she is. But regardless of that, her ass is still gigantic. Like, it's not just like a nice butt or a bigger butt for her frame. No, it's just generally huge. So it's obviously number 1 and it's S tier. Now number 2, which was kind of borderline S and A, but I decided to go with S, is Manon. I would say her butt is slightly bigger than Chun-Li's, it looks like. Obviously Chun-Li has the thighs. So Chun-Li and Juri, which I think are both more thighs than ass, are both in A though. Because they're still generally curvy, and they still got ass. It's just the focus is more on the thighs. And then B, I was thinking maybe Kimberly could be in B. That would be kind of an easy ranking, but the more I looked at it, I was like, I think that's just a C. Like, well, there are certain angles I've seen where, ooh, do I move it up to B? I guess I've seen like her ending artwork and stuff like that. It's kind of like where Manon, it's hard to say her name fast, where she's kind of borderline between S and A. Kimberly is borderline between C and B. But I'm just gonna stick with this. So once there's more characters, obviously more female characters, because I don't really care to do the guys. Like, honestly, if there were guys in there, I'd just be like, oh, E Honda has the butt slam, so sure, put him, like, and it would be like they'd all be like on the bottom here, and I would just be like ranking them individually and not saying much. And then, like, obviously Lily's whole thing, which I won't get into, and then speaking of guys, you got Marisa, who's like as buff as a dude, so like I just stuck with these 5 individual tier lists, individual rankings here. And I think it's pretty standard, nothing too out of the ordinary. I think a lot of people, I mean, these can kind of like switch out here and there, but I just think Cammy's is, so much bigger. Yeah, let's just kind of go through the pictures here. Yeah, I'm going to stick with C on that. That's more of obviously a zoom in and a close-up, but I still think it's A. And I still think Chun's is better. Still an A. And then, yeah. All right. Well, I'll go back to the tier list one last time here. And yeah, so that is my Street Fighter 6 ass tier list. I make other butt videos. A lot of times on fighting game characters, a lot of butt attacks. My channel's Peach Booty, obviously Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, stuff like that. I do throw in some other random like gaming stuff, general gaming videos as well. But if you want to hear about gaming ass, you want to see gaming ass, you want to see weapons of ass destruction being used in gaming, then make sure to, subscribe, drop a like, comment on what your thoughts on the ass rankings of the Street Fighter 6 women are, and I will see you guys in the next one.